I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Mary Pence, who's going to do a quick note. Then we're going to go to Rob to be our final co-host. And then we're going to open it for Q&A for all who would like to stay on with questions. And we will stick around and ask Martha and Jason to stick around to do any questions that come at us. So at this point, I think we're going to go to Mary.
Sweetie, I need to enter a new card.
You're on mute, Mary.
Yep, I think I just unmuted myself. Hello, my name is Mary Shelton Pence. I am one of the ordinary people who was radicalized by the November 2016 election. Since then, we've had some good outcomes, but knowing how slim is the margin by which Democrats hold the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, I am still highly motivated to do something every week to prepare for our next challenges in 2022 and 2024. So I have a question that I want to ask you very directly, and it is this. What is the most significant and impactful way you can spend your money right now on May 26, 2021, about 4 months after the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and after gaining the majority in the US Senate? I can tell you how my husband Dan and I have answered this question. We are both retired, but we have contributed $7,500 to this event and to the hope of putting Pennsylvania firmly in the blue column. I tell you that not to guilt trip you or to suggest to you what you should do, but rather to let you know that I'm not asking you to do something that I haven't already done myself. A few days ago, I heard James Carville being interviewed, and one of the things that he said echoed something I've thought about for a long time, but not quite in the way that he expressed it. As you know, Carville helped Bill Clinton get elected in 1992, and he'd been in politics for a long time before that. Here's what he said. He said, you know, I've been involved in fights over policies and between political parties for decades. What is new now is that we are fighting to save our democracy itself. And that is exactly what is at stake as we raise money tonight for the Pennsylvania Democratic Party. Would you please join Dan and me and Lisa and Jim and Barbara and Scott and all of our co-hosts in stretching whatever that is for you to contribute what you can right now. And I thank you so much. And now I would like to introduce Rob Clayman. Rob Clayman is the member of the 31st Street leadership who got us to commit to Wisconsin, Martha, in early 2020. Rob?
My name is Rob Clayman. I'm here with my wife, Carol Miller. Before making our contribution, we thought about where we've been over the past 4 years and whether we can change the playbook to make a real difference. You may also be considering all that we've been through since 2016. It's been a constant battle to gain and hold ground where absolute truths compete against ridiculous lies. Last year was for most people a bad dream. A merciless pandemic, existential elections, and an endless assault on our democracy. Where are we now? We are probably, like many of you, working hard to muster the energy or interest to get back on track, to subject ourselves to another cycle of politicking. But we see hope. One way is to create a new approach, one that gets us off the roller coaster and onto an ocean liner, moving steadily forward. This fundraiser for Pennsylvania provides a solution. So what can we do? As Thomas Paine said, offer nothing more than simple facts, plain arguments, and common sense. What we have learned over the past 4 years is that the noisemakers too often drown out simple facts with baseless claims, counter plain arguments with unfounded conspiracies, and defeat common sense with appeals to fear and anger. How do we seize control of the conversation? By building a new democracy's infrastructure, the most basic building block of which is trust, including trust in our neighbors. And that is what the Wisconsin Democratic Party used to construct its neighbor-to-neighbor program. Its bedrock principle is simple. When you speak to a friend or member of the same community, you are far more likely to trust the information they provide than if it were offered by an outsider or one of the noisemakers. Neighbor-to-neighbor volunteers talk to people who live next door, down the street, or are in the same apartment building or social network. And those conversations continue without regard to any election. They take place in every season, year in and year out. And so the trust building does not come and go. It is perpetual. Pennsylvania Democrats see the Wisconsin experience as the blueprint for seizing the conversation. Now it needs the funds to make that happen, to adopt those best practices. It starts with the hiring of 7 regional organizers and growing that number to 12 that will recruit volunteers throughout Pennsylvania to create neighborhood teams. We need to come together now to make it happen. Let's provide Pennsylvania with the organizers that can begin to lay those building blocks of trust that are so vital to democracy's infrastructure. Trust that will let neighbors speak and heed simple truths, plain arguments, and common sense. Thank you for joining us tonight, and a special thank you to all of our fellow co-hosts and their friends. This ends our program, but if any of you want to stay on for additional discussion, the presenters will stay as well.
Thank you so much, Rob. And thanks to everyone for sticking around. We really appreciate it. There's a lot of donating going on.